Okay, welcome back. In our earlier section, we were working on the right side of the drawing, the kitchen and the hallway, and those elements. And I think hopefully you're starting to get a sense of the pattern where we're using the plan, lining up the vertical edges, and then using the reference sheet for heights. So I'm going to continue on. I may have a little less description and you can see what I'm doing, but I don't necessarily think I have to take you play by play through the process. I want you to view what I'm doing and just think about the pattern and watch how it comes together. So with that, I'm going to move probably a little bit quicker to see what I can do about finishing this drawing up. So with that, the next elements that need to go in the drawing are those that are occurring here. Well, in this part of the plan, there's not much going on. There is stuff going on with that fireplace. So we're going to want to think about that. We're going to use the fireplace. We're going to look at lining up edges. Now there is an edge right here, back at the back closet. There's an edge at the first stair. There's an edge at the edge of the fireplace, at the box opening one side, the closing side of the box, the other side of the fireplace, and then the exterior wall will finish out the that requirement there. So I'm going to just go ahead and use that information and project it down on the plan. Okay, I've got all my vertical edges from the plan. I just projected them down. Now we're going to figure out what's what. So, as we look at this, we start to see some elements of the fireplace. So there's a whole category of things over here on the fireplace. So let's take a look at them. The first thing we notice is that the hearth, which is the lower floor portion of the fireplace, is relatively low, and it says it's 7 inches high. Well, where does the hearth start? Well, it actually starts over here on the edge. So as I line that up, it's on this point right here. How high up? 7 inches. So mark it, 7 inches, and I shoot it across. Okay, now I'm going to go, I see that that line runs all the way over to here. So this vertical line will stop that. So there's our 7 inches there. Next, I need to know that the fireplace has an opening that's approximately 30 inches wide. We'll double check that and test it, and 24 inches high. So looking at our plan, yeah, pretty close in width. So the projected lines are good. But how high is the firebox? That's where the actual wood goes. And that says to be 24 inches. So off the bottom of the hearth, we go up 24 inches, 2 feet. Bring across a horizontal line. Okay. Now it says that the mantle is, which is like the shelf above the firebox, is at 4 feet. So I'm going to come down here to the finished floor again, AFF, above finished floor, right there. Mark it. Extend my line across. That represents the fire, the top of the mantle. Now, it might look a little different than what's there, but close enough. Okay, so let's see what else we got. All right. Now, with that, we also have a couple other lines that are kind of funny. At the back of the firebox, we have a couple lines here, so I'm going to include those just so that those lines don't become mystery lines that you don't know what they are. Those represent those angles that we worked on in last week's activities. So there is our fireplace. Now, it says that from there the chimney goes up, and the chimney is 24 inches wide. It says 24 by 24. So as I look at this element, I want it to be centered. I want the smoke to go up through the chimney directly from the firebox. I don't want it to have to go this way or this way, otherwise it smokes. We don't want that. We want smoke to get out of the fireplace. So I can look at the plan here, and I can find my 24 by 24, and I can shoot the line up, and it goes up pretty high. We'll talk about its finish height in a bit, but if you'll notice, that's how high it goes up. And okay, so that's that. Now, next to this, let's go ahead and get this bench seat and this window seat. So let's take a look at the furniture pieces here. Now, okay, there's our cabinetry. Here's the solarium. Okay, so this is what we've got. The solarium seat is 14 inches high. That seat, if you notice here, is not broken, so it's the same height. So we're going to extend that up. That's 1 foot 2 inches high. Not very tall, but if you look at what people sit on, it's not as high as you think. Okay, and I'm going to extend that outside the building because we haven't added in the solarium yet, and that's going to take a minute, but we'll put that together in just a bit. Okay, so hearth, firebox, mantle, fireplace, chimney going up. Here's the seat that is adjacent to the fireplace. You can see it right here. So we've got that piece. Next, I'm going to hold on this on the solarium just for a minute. I'm going to finish this a couple things over here. Now, we have an edge of a closet in the far background. We're going to go ahead and put that line in. And then what we have is a railing that extends. We're going to do a little quick test here. We said it was 711 for our steps. And I can use my adjustable triangle and get that angle simply by doing 2 points, lining them up. Otherwise, you can do this freehand. It's up to you. You can project them out. Where's my, okay. And it goes something like that. Then it comes down and turns and goes to the 4-inch base, which is about right there. And that base goes all the way around. So that's the thing that's next to the floor. It protects the wall from the vacuum cleaner. It's a transition device. You probably have them at home. It's called baseboard. And that's what that base trim is. Okay, so we have that. We don't have the railings. What do they say about railings? It says here that the handrails are 2 inches thick and they're at 42 inches. So off the riser here, I'm going to go 3'6" up. 3 foot off that nosing, 3'6". So that's where that is. It doesn't extend out very far. Actually, forgot that line and that line. There we go. Okay, so, and it only goes to the edge It's 2 inches thick, and it lines up with the nosing. There we go. So again, rough, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, so got the stair apron board, and the first riser is right there, which is equal to the mantle, the fireplace hearth. Then 42 inches up is where we have our first railing, and that's at the nosing. Okay, and there's other rules, but we're not going to get into those right now. Okay, so that part of the drawing is done. Let's come over to the solarium. There's some information about the solarium that we need to know. That the window frame is 4 inches thick. Well, we have the thickness already here, so we can mark that. There it is. Okay, now we're saying that the solarium seat is 14 inches high, and there's a sill for the solarium that's 18 inches. So another 4 inches high. And that represents the sill. The seat goes here. We're going to erase some lines in just a minute. And this line is going to extend just below. Yeah, it's going to go all the way down and line up with the lower part of the floor section. Okay. You can come back and reference some of this in a bit, but I think for this exercise, we can clean up this a little bit more because the cross section is going through. Now, let's talk about the top part. We've got the bottom part of the solarium. I haven't filled it in yet. We can do some tricky stuff if we want. I think it's showing kind of an offset there. That's fine. You have some latitude there on how you want to finish that out. Okay, but let's go to the top part. It says here that the solarium goes to 11 foot and extends to the underside, extend upper header to ceiling. Okay. So first thing I'm going to tell you is that if this is 1-to-1 right here, which is a 45-degree angle, this is the same angle, so it's 45. So what we want to do is we want to tuck that in underneath the roof line so that when the water comes down, it hits the roof, it goes down the roof, goes all over the edge of the eave, and then lands on the window and sheds off the house that way. Okay, so that's the profile of that guy. There it is. There's this funny thing in the middle. We'll talk about that in just a sec. All right, so we've got that. 6'8" lower, 12 inches high. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're good. All right, so here's what we need to know. That there is this funny thing that happens here. It's like an extended header, and it runs through this piece here at 6'8", starts at 6'8", which is right here, and extends over, and it's a foot high. Okay, so now it has a kind of a joint there. So we're going to make that look a little nicer. Putting in the correct glazing like we did in for the other work we did last week. And that's pretty much it. We can put a little frame trim around this. I think we said it was 2 inches. And so you can show that on both sides. So we'll do that on that side. Do we need it on the other side? Yeah, we're going to put it right there. Oh, that seat needs to go across here. And there's the trim. and it needs to go just a bit over and across. Do the same thing here and here and here. Now, okay, so we're almost done. Hopefully you've seen how I've used the plan, just marked it on the plan. I projected it down to where the work area is or where the drawing area is. I took it right off the plan, projected it down, and then I used the reference sheet to find the heights. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to finish out the chimney. The chimney extends above the roof line, and generally speaking, there's kind of an old saying, and not so certain it's 100% code anymore, but it kind of wants to be. There's a couple other items that we'll put on here. One is that the roof, that the chimney, we don't want the sparks that come out of the roof, out of the chimney to light the roof on fire. So the idea was that the chimney always had to be 2 feet above the closest high roof. So if the highest roof is this peak right here, we just need to be 2 feet above that. And the rules have changed a bit, but for purposes of this exercise, it should be adequate. We say there's a 4-foot trim on top of that, a 4-inch trim on top of that. So that extends out there, and that extends out there, and it stops here. Now, there's going to be a poche effort. You're going to have to look at this process here to get that poche and to know which ones to do. All right, so we've got that element. There's one other element, and that has to do with the this slope right here at the stair. Now, the complicated approach is that that's supposed to be 42 inches high above every stair nosing. And we know the first nosing is right there because if you look at the second floor plan, there it is. It's right there. Okay, so because of that, we can extend this down. And the way to find that is we'll just do a few of them. We don't need to do all of them. We just go 7, 11, 7, 11, 7, 11. So we go 7. We're just finding the slope. 7, and then we go 11. And then we go down another 7. And we go out 11. So we'll do one more set of these, and then we'll be good. Down 7. And out 11. Okay, now what we want is this point, this point, this point, and this point. And so I'm setting my adjustable triangle there because it works so darn good that way. And there it is. It lines up very nicely. And that's the slope right here. So that slope means that is the slope of the railing because each one of these is going to be 42 inches up to the top of that walls. That keeps people from falling over the top. I'm going to make an adjustment here just for a sec. And I'm going to put in the trim now because you can see on the example there's a little bit of trim. So we're going to put that trim on. There it is. So we're pretty darn close here. Let's see. Is there anything else in our example? Oh yeah, we got these timbering elements right here. Okay, let's go ahead and put those in. So first thing you'll notice is that there's a beam on the top, there's a plant on this side and this side, and this is a critical point, that it lines up with the edge of the chimney. So that's that point right there. So I'm going to line that up, pop it out about 2 or 3 inches. Looks like it wants to be about 6. So we're going to make it about 6. Did we make it 6? Yes, 6. There we go. So the bottom of that lines up like this, goes straight across. There's the intersection point. Where the chimney, right here, goes through the roof plane, that's where that first element is. Okay, so then it's 6 inches. We know that. We've already established that. So there's 6. Does this. Come off this side, do the same trick. Give yourself just a bit there. Okay. Now all we have to do is find the middle. We know the center is right there. So we need to be 2 inches on, or 3 inches on one side and 3 inches on the other. Yeah, something like that. 2 inches might be the main beam here, this way. And it looks like it's about 6 or 7. This now comes in and goes across. And this piece comes across. And then we go right up through the middle with a 6-inch. As a king post. And we come off at a 45. There's the middle. There's the middle. Again, trying to keep things as symmetric as possible. Again, 3 inches and 3 inches because it's a 6-inch member. 3 inches and 3. Okay, and doing the last one. I'm just going to eyeball this because for speed. Okay. There we go. Now, that's the rough in. I am done with the rough in. There are some piers at the bottom, and I wouldn't take them down too deep. I might only go like 36 inches down. And they're kind of a T-shape. So take them down and make them about a foot. Yeah, about a foot. So you don't have to get too hung up on these. I'm not asking you to be structural engineers. I just want to show something representationally that this thing has footings underneath it because the cross section may require that. Okay, so do same thing on the other side. I'll let you do this. I made this 1 foot and it went down 3 feet. And each of these is 1 foot. And this then would be 3 feet. Is that right? Actually, this went down. Let's double check that. What do I got here? It's only 30 inches, so I'm going to say 2'6". If I go ahead and make it 3, mine's a little off. I add an extra 3 inches on this side and 3 inches. And now I'm good. Okay, so that would be 3 foot. I'll let you do all that. Okay, it's not that complicated. You can see what I did there. So do that in the middle. Right here, they should go underneath this post right here. So this post right here should serve as the point by which you are putting your footings down. Same thing here. Do that 1 foot and then okay, I've located them. They went pretty quick. So that's the assignment. What I hope you took away from it was the idea that the plan gave me the information. That's why we put it underneath there. Rather than measure and going back and forth, it's more accurate to use the plan as directly as possible. Now, please proceed with this. Finish out the rough out. Complete the finished drawing in the format as desired. Remember, we're doing it in portrait. We're not doing it do it in landscape. We're not doing it in portrait. And put in all the labeling that's necessary. I think you see some information here. We want to call it building section, assignment 5, I believe it is. we can talk about that a little bit later. But I think at this point, make sure the title block works. If you made your template, it should work just great. Make sure everything's centered. Use good lettering, good line weight. That's the goal of this project. Good quality drawings. So I look forward to seeing your work. I look forward to being happily impressed with all your good quality drawings. And so, with that, I'm going to let you go to your own devices to complete this assignment and do your best work. I look forward to seeing it, and I look forward to seeing you in class next week. Take care. Goodbye.